Today I'm going to be reviewing the eBay bicycle carrier platform hitch rack. I've been using a different kind of hitch rack that mounts the bike at the crossbar. But since I made a battery box for my e-bike, the crossbar was gone, so I could no longer use this hitch rack. I found a replacement hitch rack for my e-bike and I got it off of eBay. How good is it? Let's find out. So first let's talk about my previous rack. This rack can support up to 5 bikes. And I can even mount my tandem bike on it, even though the tandem bike is quite long. But the limitation of this rack is that it requires a crossbar, or at least the crossbar has some clearance, so you can push through the support bars on the rack. Another limitation of this rack is the support bar is quite tall. It has to be this way because you are mounting the bike crossbar on it, and the wheel of the bike might touch the ground if this support bar is too low. So every time you mount the bike, you have to lift it all the way up and push it in. That can be challenging at times when I have a heavy bike, especially for me because I often have back pain, so it's impossible for me to lift the bike up that high when I have back pain. Now with my new e-bike, there is no longer a crossbar. I can get a separate crossbar and install it right above it. But my e-bike is getting heavier and heavier, especially now. I'm thinking about getting a bigger battery pack for it. I'm not sure if an extra aftermarket crossbar can be able to support the weight, and I don't want to risk dropping the bike onto the road and cause an accident. Besides, with my bad back, I won't be able to lift up such a heavy bike up that high, so the solution is to get a platform bike rack. It doesn't need a crossbar, and it's quite low, so I don't have to lift it up that high either. Now let's take a look at the platform bike carrier. I got it for $68 on eBay. Most of the other bike carriers for sale are like the one I have previously, which require a bike with a crossbar. I also look at the cheaper platform carrier, but it seems to have a very thin wheel support, and I'm not sure if that's strong enough to support my heavy e-bike. This platform bike carrier has a very thick and strong metal wheel support, so it's very sturdy and more than enough to support my heavy e-bike. Installation is quite easy and straightforward. You just have to mount the support bar on the bottom with 2 bolts, then slide the wheel support on. It's curved upward a little bit, and make sure you install the curved side up. Note that there are left and right supports, so you have to install one on each side. For the hooks on the top, you also just need to slide them in and secure the screws. That's it. Make sure you put the bigger hooks in first and then install the smaller hook on the top. This carrier is foldable, and it has a couple pins to secure it when it's folded up. But one of the pins doesn't line up with the hole, so I have to use a drill and get the holes to line up. Other than that, it's an easy and straightforward installation. The hitch mount is 1¼ inch, but at the end, it has an aluminum adapter to make it a 2-inch hitch mount. The aluminum adapter is removable, so this mount can be used with both 1¼ inch and 2-inch hitch mounts. The bottom bar is curved upward. This is to raise the end a little bit higher off the ground, so it doesn't scrape the ground every time you go through a bump or pull in a parking lot. My previous bike rack scraped the ground every time it has a chance. It sounded like hard rock music at the back of my car every time I went through bumps. This bike rack is foldable. Just lift up the bars and you can use a pin to lock it in place. Let's talk about the pros and cons of this bike rack. Let's talk about the pros first. Number 1 is cost. The price is very reasonable. Number 2 is it's easy to load and unload, especially for electric bikes and other heavy bikes. And for me, this is the most important factor to get this bike rack. Number 3, it can be used with both 1¼ inch hitch and 2-inch hitch. This makes it very versatile and very useful. Number 4 is that it's high off the ground. so the back end doesn't scrape the ground whenever you go through bumps. Number 5, it's foldable, so it's easy for storage. And when it's on the car, it's very compact when folded. Number 6 is lightweight. It's a lot lighter than my previous bike rack. And next is the cons. The only cons I can think of is that you can only load 2 bikes on it. If you have more than 2 bikes, there are other platform bike racks like this one that can load more bags, but they are a lot more expensive. And this is the only cons I can think of for this bike rack. Alright, so that's all for now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.